I'm trying to make the perfect steak. What do? This is a treat for my pops.
Bismillah. Perfect.
Today we're using one of my favorite cuts, the filet mignon. You want to try your best to find a marbled piece, which is those white squiggly lines, which is the fat in between the intermuscular tissue. This steak is tempered, which means it's been sitting at room temperature for at least 30 minutes. That way when it hits a really hot pan, it doesn't tense up, turn gray, and become tough. We want it to relax. We're gonna hit it with neutral oil, which is an oil that doesn't have much flavor. Peanut, canola, veggie are all great, and in my opinion, avocado is fantastic too. We want to use something with a high smoke point so the oil doesn't burn when we're cooking the steak. All the steak needs is a pinch of salt, and you want to make sure the seasonings get everywhere. Now, yes, salt is all you need, but don't let anyone discourage you from eating the steak that you like. I'm gonna add garlic, paprika, and a little black pepper, and we're just gonna save some of that seasoning for later. Now, the pan you cook the steak on is also very important. You can use a classic cast iron, but I also really enjoy using the stainless steel for steak. These two options get the pan nice and hot and give the steak a great crust. I'm gonna be using the cast iron for this and turn on the heat. You wanna get the pan nice and hot before you add any oil. If you let the oil heat up early with the pan, it's gonna burn and turn funky. The pan is nice and smoky on a medium high, but I don't like to overdo it and make it scorching hot. We go in with our oil, gently lay down your steak. I like to give it a nice little press from the center. Now this is when we're gonna practice patience. Don't touch the steak too much, just let it develop that beautiful crust. See, the pan is hot and smoky, but it's not hot enough to burn the steak in 30 seconds. When the steak naturally peels off the pan, that's when you know it's ready to flip. It's okay to flip the steak more than once, but in the beginning, let it develop the crust. Now, because fillets are kind of thick, I like to sear off their sides as well. Just remember, color is flavor. Now, we've developed the crust on every single corner, but the steak on the inside is still raw. Drop the heat and add a bunch of butter. If it's melting too fast like this, that means drop the heat a little bit more. When it's nice and foamy, add a bunch of garlic. Remember those spices we had earlier? And let's do a little thyme, rosemary, and sage. The smell in here is seriously to die for. Very nice and foamy, but nothing is burning. We're gonna tilt over the pan and start scooping all that flavor over our steak. Oh my goodness. And this works amazing with filet because it doesn't have much fat. So it just absorbs all that beautiful flavored butter, and it's truthfully to die for. This is over the top restaurant quality without the prices. And it's so satisfying cooking on your own. I like to flip it over and show the other side love. If you really want to be safe that the steak is cooked, use a meat thermometer. We stabbed it at the center and it's reading 125. We're gonna let the steak rest on a rack. When it's resting, I like to take all that beautiful butter and just drizzle it over. The steak is to be cooked to your desired doneness. Medium rare is around 120. I pulled this a little late for my liking, but the perfect steak is what you prefer. We want to let this rest so all those juices come back together and so we could slice into it without it bleeding everywhere. Now it's time we give the steak a nice little slice. And we have a beautiful medium. For filet, this is a tiny bit overcooked for me. But for the pops, it's perfect. Baba, you want to come try the steak? Already, Pop? Time to try the steak. Well done. All right, now give me a try. I need honest opinion.
Bismillah. Perfect.
Give us a description.
It is very tender, very juicy. There's a little bit of a char on the outside and very tender in the inside.
What are the flavors? Because you don't know what I cooked it with. What does it taste like?
I feel the spices, but as you know, I'm not very good in determining what spices.
So it's nice and spiced.
Mm-hmm.
Good salt level.
Yep.
And there you have it, folks.
Thank you very much.
And as always, now bismillah. For me, a little overcooked, but it's perfect. And there you have it.